What is up, everybody? It is a typical Friday. There is a lot going on. There was a lot going on. Then we found out a major star got injured. On top of that, we got some backstage news on some returns. We also got a little bit of information straight from a guy that made his debut in AEW. And we've got Cena news. It seems like we've had Cena news all week. It is time for the SK Top Story. Happy Friday, everybody. I am in the hosting chair for the first time. I am Jeremy Bennett on the Twitter at JB Huskers. With me, as always, we got Sid, SP3. Sid, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, and like you said at the top of this stream, what a busy day in wrestling news.
It seems like Friday is going to be the crazy days. There was not that long ago that I was on here with Kev, and just this wave of news had hit, and just a lot. I think it was like the releases. That it was a Friday that all those releases came down the last time, and it just seems like Friday usually should be a chill day for wrestling news, but lately it's just been insane. We'd like to hear what you have to say in the comments. You see him on the screen right there. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, hit that bell notification on the YouTube so you know every time that we go live. Check the settings on Facebook as well. You can get yourself a notification when we go live every time around this time, Monday through Friday, for the top story. And oh boy, let's kick things off with a big news. Bayley came down today. Training while the Performance Center mandated training by Vince McMahon. Bayley, unfortunately, reports are, has torn her ACL. The return to the road training session was where this had happened. WWE Digital has learned that Bayley sustained that injury and is not going to be at Money in the Bank. She is going to be out for 9 months. Word is ACL injury. SmackDown is set to go live in about an hour and a half. And so we are actually going to learn who is going to replace Bayley. Very interesting tweet from WrestleVotes. WrestleVotes, a very credible source when it comes to some breaking news. All they had for us was an NXT logo. Sid, who do you think from that black and gold brand? Who do you think might be coming out and maybe making their SmackDown debut tonight as a Money in the Bank entrant?
I mean, there's been quite a few ladies from the NXT brand that have had dark matches either before Raw or SmackDown over the last couple of weeks. Most recently, Tegan Knox, who just returned to NXT, was at a dark match before Raw this week, as well as Shotzi Blackheart has probably been the most frequent of the NXT women that have had their dark matches before Raw or SmackDown. But I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say the 24-year-old star, Toni Storm. I think Toni Storm fits the build. She's someone from NXT that is on the heel side of the ledger that would make a good heel to go up against Bianca Belair. And she has the chops. She can talk on the mic. And as well, she doesn't really have anything going on the NXT brand. They have teased a match with Saray on the last couple of weeks, but it's not something that's more prominent like Shotzi Blackheart. She's kind of mixed up with Raquel Gonzalez over the NXT Women's Championship. She kind of sees pegged to be the next challenger. Tegan Knox just came back and restarted her feud with Candice LeRae, whereas Toni Storm, her feud is not that much into the forefront where it'll be easy for her to just be written off and be up on the main roster. And this is something that a lot of people that have followed Toni Storm's career from Progress to Stardom have wanted her on the main roster. She's been ready-made for a while now, so I think that she fits the bill the best.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's the easiest way to not have to really shake up the the plans, the storyline plans on NXT. As you said, Saray just went to Regal and asked for a match against her, but she's not really in any feuds. Shotzi Blackheart would be cool to see in that match, but I wouldn't want her to be permanently on SmackDown, though the SmackDown roster desperately needs women right now with all the firings. Of course, you got Mia Yim, who's still on the sidelines, not sure why she's on the sidelines. The whole thing with her and Keith Lee is such a mystery right now. And you have Becky Lynch as well. She might be ring ready, might be close. But if they bring Shotzi up, I think that they need to bring Ember up with her as well. They work so well together as a team. They could easily be WWE Women's Tag Team Champions especially after the firings. It's such a depleted division as it is right now. I think it would definitely use a shot in the arm if you bring, see what I did there? You bring up Shotzi and Ember together. I think that would be tremendous on that. Sound off in the comments who you think should fill Bayley's spot, in the end, see what happens here. It's a crazy time. We're gonna find out very soon. And WrestleVotes again saying it's someone from the Black and Gold brand. They're pretty credible. So I totally expect someone from Tuesday nights to show up tonight to fill that slot. Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful had mentioned that the mandatory return to road training, she was doing some chain wrestling with another superstar referred to as a freak accident. So hopefully Bayley gets well soon. Any final thoughts in regards to that there, Sid?
I mean, you just got to feel for Bayley. It's really disheartening, sad news because she's been the MVP of the pandemic era. She's proven herself as one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, maybe of all time on the WWE roster, because she's like an overall complete package. And for her to stand out for well over the past year and not get on the WrestleMania card, then she's in this main feud over the SmackDown Women's Championship, finally going to reach his blow off at Money in the Bank. She's finally going to be in front of fans for the first time in over 16 months, and she gets injured. I just hope, my fingers are crossed, is that WWE realizes that us fans, we love Bayley, and they realize that they have a ready-made organic babyface on her return. I saw one of my colleagues, Alex McCarthy, of Wrestling Daily, put up on Twitter that he can feel the MSG Triple H pop for Bayley when she returns. And she is kind of lined up to return maybe the Raw after or SmackDown after WrestleMania, and those are the best returns in my opinion. And they just need to capitalize on the hot baby face that she will be upon her return. So I hope that she has a speedy recovery and that she can return very, very soon, because she deserves to be in front of fans and feel that warm embrace.
Yeah, definitely. And that's going to be a tremendous Raw after WrestleMania and SmackDown after WrestleMania, something we haven't gotten in a while. It's going to be something that's going to be long overdue for us fans to enjoy, and I think it'd be a perfect time. So hopefully, health willing, she is going to be able to wrestle by then. And you've had guys like MVP and The Miz who have been injured and are still on television. So maybe keep Ding Dong Hello. Maybe keep that going. I think I can't remember who had mentioned it. I know I was talking with Rick Ucchino on Twitter, and I think it might have been Sean Ross Sapp that said he had the idea of putting her on the commentary table with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. Man, imagine the hell that Michael Cole would be going through if he has to put up with both Pat McAfee and Bayley on the commentary table. I think that would be gold. I would love that idea.
That would be excellent, because her and Michael Cole have such chemistry together, and Pat McAfee has been a godsend to commentary overall on the main roster. I would argue that he's been the best color commentary that the main roster has gotten in quite some time. And you mix that up with Bayley, you give SmackDown the 3-person announce team. It's now a female there that they can position and keep on TV, and then it's a cool transition into, if you want to keep her as a heel when she returns, she can just organically get into another feud when she's ready to come back. So I think that's an excellent option for her.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody here on the live stream, thank you for joining. Make sure you give us a little thumbs up, a little heart, give us a little love on the Facebook, on the YouTube. Give us that thumbs up. Give us that orange casty right there. Give us hit that like button as well. Hit the old bell icon so you know every time we go live. And give us some comments. Let's talk on here, even on demand. If you're watching this on demand, you can follow along and just comment away as well. The guys here on SK Top Story will love to hear from you, whether it's live or on demand. Let's move on. Oh my Lord. When the lights went out on Wednesday, did something magical happen? Malakai Black made his AEW debut to a thunderous ovation. Of course, our own Rico was in attendance, providing live video of the happenings of the debut. Just tremendous to see. Just to see what happened there. Sid, what were your thoughts on that debut on Wednesday?
I thought it was perfectly done. They did the great tease at the beginning of the night with the Cody Rhodes QT Marshall strap match, where the announcers, I think, did a great job putting it over like it was a technical difficulty because of the tropical storm in Florida, and then it pays off, later in the night with the lights going out after Arn Anderson came out for an interview with Tony Schiavone. Then the quick black mask to Arn Anderson. Then Cody comes out to try to check on his uncle Arn, and he gets the black mask as well. And I just love how Excalibur kind of sold it, because Excalibur is kind of the fan, the smart mark fan on commentary. He saw the vignette earlier in the day, so he says, that's not Tommy Yen, that's not the guy I've wrestled for 15 years, that's Malakai Black. So I think he did a great job of selling it. I thought it was well done from start to finish, and it gave him a great step forward in the beginning of his career with AEW.
Yeah, that was well done by Excalibur on just laying that out. And come on, Cody, he gave you that. Black gave him that. Okay, I'm back, and boom, popped him with it. Come on, Cody, you should have saw that coming. But anyways, on the Twitch live stream on his Twitch channel, Malakai Black actually went on Zelina Vega, his wife's Twitch channel, talked about his debut recently. And talked about how it was a hassle to keep under wraps. He said once he found out that the contract was a little tad different than usual, nice clerical error. I'm sure Vince fired somebody over that. Like I said on Top Story yesterday, I wonder how many shades of purple Vince turned when he found out the clerical error that it was a 30-day non-compete, not a 90-day non-compete. That definitely made some veins pop. I think Vince might have lost a couple of years off his life there from the stress. Maybe. I don't know. I think Vince is immortal in my opinion anyways.
All right.
Malakai said, I had already made the character movie and I came up with this idea. Company liked it, so we ran with it. It was all very last second. I feel like in modern day wrestling, there are only a few moments that make a genuine surprise and people get a look your way. For me to sneak in, not be seen, dip and dive so they wouldn't see me, that took some skill. Kudos to AEW and the entire crew. What a great operation they have. Feels good that I'm in a place where my creative mind can be utilized instead of stopped and controlled, knowing the things weren't going to work. Further on, Black said he pitched the idea and said, what if we do multiple blackouts, and insinuated technical difficulties. Brilliantly done as they set that up. He talked about how many people knew about it. He said as limited amount of people as possible kept it under wraps. Some security, Cody Rhodes, and a couple others. It may have been 5 or 6 total people were all that knew that he was in the building. Of course, there was the report from Fightful Select earlier in the day that there was a little rumblings that he might be coming around, but not many people knew it was actually going to be this week. And he finished it off on the comments saying, last night was one of the top 3 of my favorite moments of my career. I slept maybe 3 hours because of adrenaline, and it was accumulation of months and months and months of having this big payoff. It was worth the pain, worth the chaos, and worth the perseverance. Talking about Tony, he said it was great. What an effing wonderful dude, quote unquote, from Malakai Black. Really nice guy, loves his company, loves wrestling, and just overall felt like it was the right move for him to make. And man, I totally agree. And it is right, Sid. In this day and age of social media, smartphones, everybody looking, it's hard to pull off something like this. And they did it, didn't they?
They did such a great job of keeping it under wraps, making it a genuine surprise for the people watching at home as well as there in Miami. And a lot of people say like, oh, the dirt sheet writers, they're helping AEW. They're not coming out with the reports. Sean Ross Sapp said he heard rumblings that they were there. A month back, Dave Meltzer said that it looked like Aleister Black was going to AEW, but the way they pulled it off, the way they made it a genuine surprise. I mean, some of the credit should go to WWE for their clerical era. And Sean Ross Sapp actually did confirm on Inside Cradle with Rick Ucchino and Kev Kellum that the person that was responsible for that clerical era is no longer with the company. So that makes a bunch of sense. He also did confirm in an interview with Buddy Murphy that they also thought that Buddy Murphy was under a 30-day non-compete clause, which Buddy informed them after they called him to confirm that if he wanted to be on the 90 days, he could be. He confirmed that he already was, and he said that their voice went from panic to relief. So it seems that WWE is not very sure of who has what contracts. They just made budget cuts without looking into it, and it's beneficial to Malakai Black and AEW as a result. I thought this was well done. If this feud ends with Malakai Black giving the black mask to Cody at All Out, I'm all for it, and this is a great introduction for him and a great start to his time with a new company, so I'm happy for him.
And we win as well as fans, because that was a moment that we're going to that's going to be a moment we're going to look back when we look back at the landscape of pro wrestling in 2021. We're going to look back at that as one of the top moments of the year, just that debut alone. All right, let's move along. Let's go to Malakai Black's wife, Zelina Vega. Some backstage news regarding her big return, because she made a big return last week, thanks to Sonya Deville introducing her as a Money in the Bank participant. Of course, that SmackDown Women's roster is definitely depleted, and so all the help that they can get. And according to Fightful Select, the plan as of 3 weeks ago was for Zelina to return to the main roster. She was on internal documents as of June as a female heel on the SmackDown roster, even though she didn't appear, obviously, until last week on the 2nd of July. The hope was to have her involved in Money in the Bank and possibly in the match, which, of course, is what we found out last week. Fightful reported in May that Zelina was filmed at the Performance Center and told that talks between the two sides had started well even before May. And some in the WWE let Fightful know that there was an effort to stay in contact throughout the entire process, and apparently it worked. From the point of Zelina's release, there were several influential names pushing for her to be brought back to the company. And I think probably I would say there's kind of the same situation as what happened with Joe. Don't you think, Sid?
Yeah, it seems that they really kept a close eye on her when she left the company, and they seemed like they regretted their decision after all, kind of like what they did with Samoa Joe. I'm happy for her, if she made a choice that this was the right thing for her. I know that she's grown up being a WWE fan. That was the dream that she always wanted to live. Her late father wanted to see her in WWE. And at the time that she did agree to go back, her husband was working with the company. So it seemed like the right decision. I mean, as a fan, I selfishly wish that she was in AEW with her former business associate Andrade, because I feel like she would be a better manager for him, or even with Malakai Black, maybe a different version of Thea Trinidad as a dark character alongside Malakai Black would have been cool as well. But I think that on a SmackDown roster that desperately needs talented women, she is a great talker, a great promo. She has a unique look that's different from everybody else, and I think that she hasn't really met her full potential in the ring in WWE yet. She also has unfinished business with the current SmackDown Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. They had a fierce rivalry last year, which Bianca Belair pretty much dominated in beating her. I think it was like 4 times in a row. So, the window is open, the door is open for her to win Money in the Bank and potentially get her first win on Bianca Belair and make it an important win by winning the SmackDown Women's Champion. Honestly, when you look at the landscape of the women involved in the Money in the Bank right now, she's my favorite to win. Although she did lose in her match back. That kind of how WWE books their Money in the Bank winners before they win the contract. You got to lose some, and then you win the big one. They think it even stuff out, so it would work in her advantage.
That's how they book the Money in the Bank winner a lot of times too. There's so many times I've seen the Money in the Bank winner lose after they've gotten that briefcase. It's crazy. One final thing in regards to Zelina Vega, Fightful Select had asked if the Twitch streaming deal had been negotiated, and they said that they have not heard of anyone working into the new deals yet, and wasn't sure if that was even broached. Of course, with that entertainment company no longer existing, I'm assuming Vince has gotten off of that high horse and is no longer probably worried about Twitch and anything like that, I would assume.
And also, Zelina hadn't been on her Twitch stream for over 5 months now. So it seems like we said, like they've been in contact with her for a lot longer than she's been back with the company. You know, it was first reported by Fightful that she was seen at the Performance Center in May. And, you know, it seems like the months before that, they were already in talks to kind of bring her back. They were apologetic to her. So she's forgiven them for the way she was let go. So, you know, in the end, we just hope that she gains success with her return to WWE, because as we keep saying, you know, with Bayley going down especially, and, you know, the number of superstars they've let go, they really need someone on the women's side of the ledger on SmackDown to step up, and Zelina Vega has that opportunity to do that.
Our final piece of news for the week, another John Cena update. Yesterday, Jose and I talked about how it was announced that John Cena has signed on for the spy thriller Argylle, which is a trilogy, apparently. And filming began in Europe, is going to begin in Europe in August. So that put a big wrench into, well, is John Cena going to be at SummerSlam? Well, according to Dave Meltzer at the Wrestling Observer, Cena versus Roman Reigns is locked in. It is locked in for SummerSlam. We have not seen anything in regards to Cena yet in the WWE, but obviously Cena and Roman has been long talked about. Of course, Cena has gone on television saying that the return is imminent. He just does not know when. So what do you think, Sid? Do you think, do you believe Dave, or do you think maybe plans have changed with that movie announcement yesterday?
I mean, it's very interesting, and the only reason that I question it now is because of the COVID restrictions. You would think that with the movie with such stars as Catherine O'Hara, Samuel L. Jackson, that they would, you know, have strict restrictions, you know, set in place for the production of this movie, and you don't want to risk millions of dollars that this budget is probably on, you know, one of your stars going to SummerSlam in Las Vegas with 30,000 wrestling fans, as well as probably another, you know, 20,000 boxing fans for the Manny Pacquiao fight, and potentially get COVID-19 and halt your productions a little bit longer. It doesn't really make sense on the Argylle side of this, but as far as WWE, I mean, I hope that this happens, because Cena versus Roman is the type of mainstream main event that they need for SummerSlam, to make sure they sell out that stadium in Las Vegas, to make sure that they get eyes outside of Vegas on this show. They need this matchup. And, you know, the other kind of report involving SummerSlam was from Andrew Zarian of the Madman podcast, who said that Brock Lesnar is out of the question for SummerSlam as of right now. So if you don't have Brock Lesnar, you really, really need John Cena to be that main event star to go up against Roman Reigns here. So I'm hoping, for WWE's sake, that John Cena is good to go for SummerSlam.
Yeah, definitely. And as I had mentioned on Top Story yesterday, we don't know what they're doing next month with the Argylle film. They could just be doing some principal photography. It may not have anything to do with the stars of the show yet. So more to be found out as the days progress. But you never know. I would assume probably we're going to see John Jack Cena. The SmackDown after Money in the Bank is going to be my educated guess, so to speak, on that. That's going to do it for this edition of Top Story. I would like to thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. Keep continuing to comment and share, and give us that thumbs up, or give us a little heart, give us a little hug, even give us the old shock face. Even give us the angry face if you don't. If you're angry, just give us some emojis. Go to YouTube. Hit that bell icon so every time we go live on YouTube, if that is your preferred way of watching us, or check the notification settings for Sportskeeda Wrestling as well on here. That way, that pops up when we go live as well, so you can join in on the fun live. But we also like to hear from you on demand as well. So always comment and let us know. Sid, what do you have going on, man?
Well, you're going to see me later on tonight following SmackDown with Rick Ucchino, Dutch Mantel, and we got a very, very special guest. Star Maker Poland is going to be with us. He's been a manager for John Cena, as well as he's been in OVW during the epic era of OVW. So he's going to be our special guest on Smack Talk, reviewing this week's episode of SmackDown. So should be very interesting, especially with Jimmy Uso confirmed in the building for that show following his DUI arrest. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the injury to Bayley. So this is going to be a jam-packed, probably one of the biggest episodes of Smack Talk. So stay tuned for that. And since you're here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel, after this stream is done, check out my interview with Zach Gowen. And of course, you can always find me over on True Heel Heat YouTube channel, True Heel Heat 133, dropping tomorrow, Saturday. So check that out as well.
Awesome. You can find me on Lost in the Midcard. That podcast drops every Thursday. You can go to litmcpodcast.com for all the socials. Myself, my co-host Matt Black, who is also a fellow Sportskeeda writer. We drop it every Thursday. So you can follow me on the Twitter at JB Huskers. And we hope that you enjoy the weekend. We hope you enjoy SmackDown tonight. And what else do we ask them to enjoy, Sid?
Enjoy wrestling.
Yeah!